Thanks all of you for joining in. I will try to keep the session in a way that it's less boring, more interesting. Less of theoretical talks, more of practical experiences from all the panel member here. First thing, let's try to address the elephant in the room. We all are using AI basically to write code. Some of us are using for reviewing the code. Some of us are using for DevOps or infrastructure purposes. And some of us are still wondering we should use it or not. One question is very clear that the question which was being asked 2 years back, can machines write code? Can AI write code? That question is not valid anymore. The answer is yes, machines can write code. The right set of question to ask at this point of time is, can we trust the code that machine is writing? Can we trust machine enough that whatever code is coming out, can I blindly put directly into production? Can I run an army of sub-agents, one of them write code, one of them reviews code, another deploys it, fix the bugs, and talk to customers, take the feedback, and do everything, right? And all of us can sit in a beach and enjoy. So that's the question, how much we can trust AI? And also the biggest point that we will discuss today is, how do we build that trust between engineers and machine so that they are not competing with each other, but they are trying to build a system where they can be productive for each other, like machines and humans working together in a trust manner so that whatever code is coming can directly go into production. So that is the context of today. We'll try to see how to build that trust, because trust is not a config setting. It's not a YML configuration which you can set true or false. It takes time. It comes with the experience. You have to deploy the correct set of stack, human ownership, accountability to build trust, and that will be topic today. So starting with first question, which is in everybody's mind, like, what is the future for engineers? Should engineers be anxious about it? Should engineers be excited about this development? What do you guys think about that? Is it anxiousness or excitement? How do engineering shape up in this AI world? So maybe any one of you can take the mic and start.
Want me to start?
Sure, sure. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I think it's both. I think it's optimism. I will say people should be cautious about it. I think it's from that tradition that people are worried because there's a report which has come down that around 80% of people are worried right now because of AI is being very overwhelming right now in the organizations. And but AI is an augmentation tool. It's not the replacement. That's point number one. Another point which on this is, which I think everybody will agree on it, that the junior engineers are, because of this overwhelming, too many technologies coming up, they're getting worried about it. But people are not thinking from another part, which is by 2027, 80% of people will get more skills, more jobs. That's what the report says. That's my take right now. That's both right now.
Yeah, so I just add a couple of points here. The question is very valid, like engineers should be worried or not. So engineers who builds abstractions, understand the system design, going through a lot of not debugging process, not the execution process. Like if you're the person who understand how technology works, what kind of system you need to build to scale this, obviously they are in very, very better position. For them, it's a very sweet spot, this AI coming into picture. The engineers who executes the command, they should be worried, and definitely they should understand, or they should scale. They should understand how system design works. So answering to the question, the trust. Trust comes with the three factors. Like you have a transparency, reversibility, and autonomous. Like you should own this. Somebody has to own the thing. So if AI gives you a response, you need to know that, okay, response is correct. Whether I should roll back or I should accept it, and it should be owned by human. That's it.
So I come from a telecommunication background. So one of the roadmap, what telecommunication wants to do is to get into completely autonomous network and autonomous operations and autonomous deployments. So for us, especially from the telecommunication space, the entire telecom vendors across the globe, we all want to achieve this milestone because nobody wants to be a traditional player. Everybody wants to be a digital autonomous player. So AI definitely is an upskilling required for my team, and especially in the telecom space. So when I communicate to my team, I tell them this is a mandatory upskill which you need to have, because we are all looking at a vision which you need to achieve by 2030 as autonomous operations. And one of the challenge I see is the cultural change which has to bring into the people. It's not more about how the adoption is done, but how people are adopting to the cultural shift, which is not traditional coding, but coding using AI, and also bringing the security elements. So one of the initiatives what we do is that we are trying to bring something like a AI framework, so that any developer or any coder cannot come and just do anything on an AI definition or an AI coding. It has to be driven with a framework, and that is something which we are trying to evolve into. So I would definitely say disruption is always the need for an innovation. So we believe in that. And this will only help us to achieve bigger scale, bigger opportunities, and companies in India can bring more business because we are strong in software building.
I think a lot of things we have already talked about. Just to add one thing, I think developers definitely anxious. Earlier, before AI, SD1 will write the code, SD2 will review, staff engineer will review the design patterns. We now just prompt and agents will write the code and hundreds, thousands of lines of code. So, and then it's reviewed by AI, it is deployed by AI, and observability is also AI. So, engineers looking at the job description and figuring out what exactly am I supposed to do here. So, there is definitely some anxiousness. At the same time, the excitement comes if you cross that hump, if you realize that you can actually be 10x engineer. You don't have to be dependent on architect or security, cyber, for AppSec, you don't have to be dependent on other people. All that knowledge is collectively available to you. I think the moment we realize that, that's when the excitement comes.
So if I add the point, like many people already add a lot of things in AI, but I think there is a very significant excitement in the engineering side, right? Because if you talk about, so if you have to write some program and down the line, like if you go back somewhere around 10 years ago, right? So you have to plan it, okay, it will take months, 2 months, 3 months down the line. But now it is like significantly, it is reduced a lot time for the basic programming, all those checks and everything. You want to build some, any tool, any UI, right? You can easily do that. But having said that, it is not replacing the stuff of the human, right? Because it is just a enabler for, as an assistant, right? It is helping the person or engineer to get that things optimized faster and all. So if I break down that experience, or if I just in another way around, like if I say like previously what we do, we just write the code, then we evaluate the code, then we see how optimized it is, then all those security checks, everything we do from a one person point of view, right? But now it breaks down in two things, right? One is the person who is writing code, programming things and all and giving you the result. Second person, he's doing that, all those checklists, okay, this code is right based on my design and everything is done or not, and then it is like security-wise good or not. All those optimizations are in take. So now the thing which are doing like all coding and everything, that is the mechanical thing, which is all those mechanical tasks the AI is doing, and all those adoption, all those productive things, right, which we used to take as a, we can deliver or not. So that question which he asked, right? So that is something the person is still human or engineer has to take the right call, okay, this is doable, this is shippable or not. So it's really, really important, and that excitement is really high because it is reducing a lot time from all those efforts, giving you all those junior profile or junior engineer, right, who are doing only programming. Now they can use their own time to get in the next level. So all those software engineer, now they are becoming as a senior software engineer understanding and mindset, because they are performing how that scale works, how the design should work. So that is their role is changed. So it is not replaced, it is changed, right? So that is really, really important for any engineer to run the journey and all, right? And yeah, so this is all about the journey which we have to follow.
To add to these guys' points, from practical experience, we already had 2 outages caused by AI, by using AI. So AI taking autonomous decision is just maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. And now speed, deployment. So what's happening is developers are just writing the code and just deploying it, not understanding what exactly it's happening in the back end. Say, for example, Claude, they just generated the code to debug. It says first describe pod, check the logs, and then immediately it said, okay, delete this deployment. It go and enter it. Developer not understanding what that command does, they just click allow once, and then after 2 or 3 times, they say allow always, and then whatever it does, just it goes on executed. So yeah, we have to be careful, and Claude means AI taking autonomous decision is just 2 or 3 years down the line. And as Dr. Nikhil mentioned, you need to have a framework for it. And all the recent outages that has been caused, AWS region going down or Cloudflare going down, I feel there is some link to this AI code generated. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, so very interesting takes. I think what we can get out of all of this is we don't need to get anxious. It's more about excitement. The new opportunities have opened up, but definitely we kind of need to improve ourselves, unlock those new skills which AI has enabled us to. For example, you can just go ahead and learn distributed system easily than what you would have done 3 years back. I think I can throw this paper while all of my questions are answered, but anyway, so because it is more about trust, the question still remains, and I would like to get your views on, it's okay to run something for an MVP-ish kind of thing, right? Let's say if I want to create a small game and I just want to play it along with my friends, I can ask Claude and just go it around and deploy maybe on an app store and start playing with it. But how do I build a system or how do I build a process that without any much of a human intervention, I can actually take that game or any kind of system to the production level, keeping in mind there are security aspects, keeping in mind scaling aspects. So I know this is not possible right now. It might become in future, we don't know. But if at this point of time, how do we build that trust process between human and AI that it is actually production ready? Have you guys build any system which has actually gone into production just by AI?
I think that's very interesting. And see, having said that, the one word for this answer is CI/CD. So this will be the future, guys. Now we are thinking how the CI/CD happens. Most of the people know already work and all, and some people are already struggling, right? But I am sure like this will be the future for this automation journey, right? Where we validate the thing, whatever we developed, and then all those process evolving, right? So that is something is going for a next level. So CI/CD is just not the word. It's just the journey of your from beginning or writing a single line of program to the ending of the program, validation of the system, requirements. So having said that, like that, how we can scale up and how we make sure that this thing is taken care of, right? So that is like basic strategy works with aim method or map method. So aim is something is your action, input, and your mapping, right? All those methods and all. So what exactly you want to have that as actions? You have to prioritize the requirements. And then what exactly you're going to write as an input. So that is really important because see, if you're typing something, if you're writing what I want, if you're very clear with that requirement and input, and also your result will be very, very optimistic, and you will get that 100% accurate, or not 100%, but 99 point something you will get as an accuracy level, right? And then the method, or I would say the final results, right? So whatever you're expecting. So those validations levels, if you can automate that journey, all those requirements with a lot of helping with another quality checks list, right? Then I think you can build the automation system, and then there is a map is another fundamental method, right? So in the map is like how you're modeling the requirement, how you're accepting that out, and then how you're proceeding that out, okay, this is right thing which I want to build, and this is something is done. So I think those fundamental things in AI, if you use those areas and you make sure you're building toward that mindset and getting that thing enough right, I think it will be a very, very helpful journey for any engineer who want to build something as an autonomous or some automation system has to be there, right? So that's the future. We are discussing now, but I think down the line for 2 years, maybe you will see this thing also is automated, and we will think in another next thing which we have to do in AI. Yeah.
So I will talk about the few of the experience that we have been seeing in my company. So when we started for like engineer for giving the cloud code, for writing the code, initially like people were not ready, then we enforced it, we make sure that everybody is participating it. But after say 7-8 months of like what we are seeing, like people are asking, I need more credits, I need more money, like So now finance team is asking like, what is the productivity? So the question is become like now from, they were like questioning, now they are participating it, now they are being using for each different of use case. So the question that he asked about like trust. So trust definitely is like a progressive. You start with the doubt, then you start using it, and then the gradually it's become your day-to-day life. So that's what I've seen. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? I guess yes. So, see, one use case that we have actually experienced running an agentic AI in production is essentially to parse the bank statements of our customers. So I work for an NBFC, and we give loans to people in tier 2, tier 3 countries, cities. People, most people out here, I'm sure, are people who have a regular salary, get the salary on the first or the second of the month. Now, many of our customers, they don't have such a steady income. So you need to guess from the bank statement which are the incoming transactions that actually denote salaries. So using AI agents to pass this information has drastically cut down the time it takes for us to give out a loan.
And so, a couple of things what we are doing in AI. If it is very SOP driven sort of experience, I think it's very easy. There's not much need of human in the loop, because that's just a scripted responses. But say in conversational bot, when customer is coming and we have that use case where if the customer wants to say close the account, can we do that without human in the loop? Maybe we can do that, but how accurate it will be? It should not have a 0% error rate. So there is still more research, more effort to do in those kind of use cases. In DevOps, in SRE world, we have a lot of vendors, external party, where we have given the connectivity and overridden some rules and configs. If somebody says, just do an audit of all my network infrastructure, and wherever you find the anomalies, just list it out. And it emits 20 different things which are anomalies. And then you say, okay, go fix it. And then your bank is down, right? So few things we cannot just do by that. Humans will be required depending on the risk which is involved. And maker checker we have been following. That's how we have PR reviews and a lot of things. But still, there is a way forward. Like when we are talking about agentic development, where we say we are the orchestrator and we have 10 agents who are operating independently. Maybe we can start, the way we are thinking, we should start for the internal applications. Where the blast radius is not that huge. And we build trust in terms of how do we navigate, how do we become better at understanding how do agentic coding actually behaves, what kind of guardrails we need to have. Maybe we don't need to have policies or guardrails as a human, but as a policy. So that even though your AI agents want to open some port, but it will not allow because there is a reinforcement. So I think the validation layer, the guardrails, those are very critical for us to get to that level of trust where we can rely on AI to just make changes in production.
So, in terms of where AI is going into the future, right? From our product perspective, any product organization, what the workflow is, the product managers comes with the requirements, and then requirements get transformed into specs, and then the specs gets transformed into the code. So what AI means, how the future might be is going is like we have sprint cycles, 14 days, right? Maybe the future, like the sprint cycle will be just a day. They want everything to be done within a day, deployed into the production. So how far the AI is coming right now is what has actually implemented in the existing world is the product managers are able to write beautiful specs, and the Claude is able to get converted into product managers are able to write nice requirements, and it gets converted into specs automatically. That creates a Jira ticket, and then it gets assigned to the engineers. And maybe in future, there will be agents which reads the specs, creates those codes, and the AI agents automatically, it's a new microservice. It creates a CI/CD kind of a pipeline, deploys into the code, runs the test cases, and say, hey, it's ready for production. That's where it's going to go.
Actually, product managers no longer give specs. They give a prototype using agentic, generate the code, generate the actual sample application and give, ye mere ko chahiye. That's already happening, big time.
Well, no, thanks. So I think, should we head to the beach? Like, if everything is, I mean, that's a really good point. You spoke of human in the loop. Do you guys think, is there a boundary where like AI will always need, because context and prompts are still very important as far as the LLM are concerned, right? LLM are just trying to predict the next best word and that's how the output is getting generated. So we've heard of something called prompt engineering, context, memory and skills. All of these buzzwords are there. What's your take on the context thing and the prompting thing? Do you think that a human, at least at this point of time, a human is always needed in the loop to tell AI what to do, or we can ask AI itself that what we should do? Like how much that context and prompting is important?
Yeah, I'll take this question. Thank you, Akshay, for asking. So we all know AI understands patterns of context. When I say patterns, basically, it has mixture of these three things, like the technical context you have, business context, and the human context. In technical context, we know very well that AI is truly doing amazingly. Day by day, they are getting better. The prompting, the context is really good. And that is the agentic AI taking place. But when it comes to the business context, AI understand the meaning, but it don't own the consequence. Like when you talk about the SLAs, customer impact, it gives you the truly definition of that, what it comes and what does it mean. And third part is human context, where AI don't have any idea. Like when you are going to give a presentation tomorrow, and the release cycle AI is saying that, okay, let's release the product. That's a big problem. So human, where you have like high risk system, the dependency and the human will be always in the loop, for sure. Because the ownership, without accountability, AI system does not exist. AI system has been built to assist the human, not to replace the human. That's what I said that the junior engineers, the path to become senior engineer is now completely changed. Earlier, junior engineers write tons of the code, but now from writer to reviewer, how the shift happens. So when AI takes place, now the shift happens in such a way that junior engineer who used to write a lot of codes, now he becomes the reviewer of the code. AI is writing the code, he has to review the code. In DevOps, if you see, earlier we used to executions. We do a lot of execution. Those has been changed to the decision makings. Now you become the approver kind of thing. Incidents response, where it has to be a lot of debug process, like what kind of incidents response we have, that has to be changed to decision makings. So all this context, where you need to understand whether the technical context, as I said, you cannot beat AI. AI is doing far better than human. They write the code very fast, very efficient. It has to be coding standards in the place. Everything is very exactly the way it has to be, where human prone to do a lot of mistake, but AI can't. But other two areas where the business context and the human context, AI is still evolving. Thank you.
And adding on that, like, for a context, whatever we are just asking, right, and really, really important. I'll just give you two examples. One is in the e-commerce wala side, right, like supply chain and that how that experience of the website and app is works. So being a, let us say, one guy is a product manager, right, and we give the requirement like we have to improve the conversion of the checkout. Okay, so the first thing, okay, we'll ask AI like how we can improve the checkout. Just tell me the solution. Very straightforward. AI will tell you several things you have to do, this guest checkout, you have to do this and all, right? But does it really making some impact in your business? No, because it is very generic answer which we got from the AI. So now, once we make sure like we are giving the right input as a context, right? Like, okay, my problem is like I have significant users who came to this product detail page, came to the cart page, but after that they are not moving in the payment. Or another example, I have this and this journey, go to the payment, but after the selecting discount, it again going back. So if you add some several contexts, right, behind the scene of your conversion drop, you will get probability of that experience which AI can give you. Okay, this thing you can do as an improvement, this thing you can do as an improvement, right? So those expected results, which will be like more accurate, or I would say more inclined with your business rather than as a generic answer, right? First thing. For supply chain, again, like, okay, I want to see like how I can make that replacement, and like my inventory is this. Now I have to make sure my all stores are getting the right inventory on time. That's a generic thing. Now AI, how I can make sure all those inventories are in place, everything is taken care. The answer will be again generic, like they don't know your business, they don't know your context, there is no where we are, how many warehouses you have, how many dark warehouses you have, what are the pattern you are running as a business, right? That AI don't know. Until unless you don't give that all clarity, and also like you make sure that whatever concern you are getting, like in one of the store I am having the inventory, but I'm not able to understand where is the inventory. That is messed up, one problem. In another warehouse, you are getting some scope, like all SKUs are mapped, but the style IDs are still missing some tags, some gap is there. Another point. So if you add those kind of context, right, behind your journey, behind your problem for your specific to your business, I think in that way, you will get the right answers, right, justified solutions which you can apply to your business. And these are the journeys I think we have to utilize with the AI. So evolving that journey is really, really important. And frankly speaking, like nowadays you guys can hear it, okay, these many engineers are got fired, and this is like, are we replacing entire engineering with the AI and all? I think it's very simplistic answer is like, I agree there is a natural anxiety on that, like, okay, people are having that fear and all, like, okay, does my name will be in the next or not? But if you know the business as a being a good leader, right? Leader understand the business, leader understand what is AI, what is engineer, what they can do, and what AI can do, right? So in that way, people will understand the right way how to deal the things. As I said earlier, right, the mechanical versus the adoptions. So the job responsibility are shared now. AI is your assistant, which is sharing your productivity high. Like it is giving you that way there you can write the things faster, and you can focus on another next level things, which probably you were doing in the earlier days in a step by step. But now the third or second step is in the first step. And parallelly, you are having that mechanical guy, which is your assistant, who is solving your program and other basic requirements. So I think evolving those journeys, going for a next level, that journey is really, really important. So having said that, like answering just a one note, right, really, really like it is important for giving the context, because without context, I think you will not get that right, justified, or your business inclined answer for that. Yeah.
I just want to give you, my learner friends said a lot of things, but just in one line, AI will not take accountability of anything.
Yeah.
So that means 75% of data, whatever is getting generated, human will be in the loop. 25% only will be AI driven.
Don't go with the fear, like no one can replace human. Human is the one who created that AI. AI can't override anything until unless you have the right, you have the control. So you are the master of the AI. AI is not the master of yours. So
There is no tool also available right now in the market, no LLM model available, which can give a pattern-based data, this is as per the Gartner reports.
Yeah, and just to add here, AI predicts the most likely next outcome, the next action, not the right action. So what happens, whatever the AI gives proposed to you, it's for you to read it out. It's a suggestions. But because you know your business very well, you know your use case very well, you know your customer very well. So these suggestions can be applied or cannot be applied. So human has to be in the loop. What rightly FaKhruddin said that the human cannot be disappeared at all.
Just want to add there that AI will not replace humans, but the way it is evolving, right? There's a recent news that after Opus 4.6 was came, and there was it wrote C compiler, 16 agents running for 2 weeks, and it passed all the tests what it has to pass, and it wrote the code in Rust. So that C compiler would have taken years and would have taken n number of people, researchers, lexical, all that research scientists would have taken that much amount of time. So 2 weeks, 16 agents, maybe 2 or 3 orchestrators, developers doing it, and the overall cost was $20,000. So that's the amount of money which you have to spend. Now you compare it with what humans have to do, it will take a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of management, a lot of coordination, sprint planning and retrospections and all that stuff, backlog management. So I guess there will be a lot of time for humans to do a lot of things. So that we have to figure out. But it will be very interesting to see how things change in next 6 months, 1 year.
Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. So I think one thing is very, very clear until we go into the metrics world. Let AI be our assistant rather than the vice versa. That AI should act as our assistant rather than we acting assistant of AI. And the compiler example was really good. Like I was going through the issues in the compiler, and there is still bunch of things that AI don't solve in that world, but the head start was there. Like it reached to a state where it can be now managed by humans in that way. So I think again, until we reach the metrics world, the AI will be an assistant. It will always need a human to operate with. We can't say what happens after a year, but at least as of now, we'll always. You have something to say, right? Like you want to add something? No. Okay. Cool. Next thing is, till now what we have discussed is all about what is the work that AI can do which engineers were doing. For example, CI/CD pipelines, observing an infra, security issues, monitoring those issues. In real practical scenarios, is there anything which AI has done better than humans and can do better than humans? Maybe you might have seen in your experiences in last 2 years, anything that AI has done better than what humans would have done?
So, in one word, I think code generation is one thing AI has been used significantly. I'm not sure for the last 2 years, but definitely over the last 1 year and maybe even more last 6-7 months. And I'm talking about across the tech world today. So I will give you practical examples. I mean, how I got introduced into AI. I mean, forcefully introduced. So I had to develop a prototype to integrate with the bank to, get all the bank statements and integrate with our loan management system. Now, this thing was sitting in between emails, shared documentation, etc., and I was not finding time to start off on it. So one fine day, just before leaving for home, I was at work that day. I just wrote a prompt to Gemini, just integrate with this thing. Initially, it gave me some, the mumble jumble about you have to do this, you have to do that, and all that. Then literally, out of frustration, like you would talk to a person out there, like asking you, having a conversation, I said, dude, read the documentation, it's there in my email. That's a lot. You won't believe it, the next 10 minutes, I had a working prototype ready. This scanned Google Workspace for all the documentation, shared secret keys, the API protocol, everything. And I had a working prototype at my desk 10 minutes, and I could use it, and we could start off with it. So that has gone down to production, and this was something done by our operations team. We had a team of 5 people working about half a day every day to reconcile with the bank statements. That is done right now automatically. First thing they come in the morning. That's like a huge savings as an organization for us. So can AI do something significantly fast? Yes. And there's one more case that I would want to talk about. Again, this is an agent. I mean, in the banking system, in the credit system, right? AI, when I say AI, machine learning has been used for last 10-15 years to run credit models. That has been the norm. So the last 6 months to 1 year, we are talking about Agentic AI or LLMs doing extra work as well. So one more case I'll talk about in tier 2 or tier 3 cities. Sometimes you ask customers to upload photographs inside his house and outside his house. The idea here is to see if that guy is credit worthy. Now, one of the things that makes someone credit worthy is having a functional kitchen. Okay. Now, in small towns, what happens is the customers don't apply for loan themselves. They go to agents who apply to different NBFCs like InCred or Bajaj Finance, etc. So so this functional kitchen, how do you identify it? The way the initial agents identify is having a cylinder and a stove. So somewhere along the line, the agents, the physical agents who are selling the loans, right? They got lazy. They basically coach the customers. Bhai, ye chalao, you will get a loan. So they wouldn't attach the cylinder to the stove, right? There's a cylinder lying out there and the stove lying out there. And so again, this was caught by a human and the models were refined later on. So this is again something that drastically cut down our lending time process, but again, it requires rework. So I see in the future this sort of a round model. You know, people will learn to game AI, and then AI models will get smarter.
So I will take this in a different way. So as I said, we come in the telecommunication industry. So the kind of complexity which is there in telecommunication, because we talk about distributed systems, which are handling, I'm sure all of you know, prepaid, postpaid, convergent, fiber to home business, right? So it depends upon, there is no single rule that AI is the solution for everything. It depends upon how you strategize to use your AI to solve your problem. So I will take one use case, which was a brownfield transformation. So what I mean by brownfield is that you move a very old legacy operator, which is 80-year-old. One generation change has happened in the operator itself that nobody knows what are the legacy systems running, what are the codes which are written. How do you get this operator to go into a new age 5G digital operations, right? It's a huge task. Now, how do you solve this? There are two ways. The old way that every humans will come into the room, try to get all the code base, all the deployments, all the procedures, all the documents, run through this, and try to get what is an outcome. Typically, this kind of transformation programs, before AI agents were there, it used to take a lot of time, which means we strategize what you need as part of the outcome. One is, how do you want to improve your customer experience? What is the revenue optimization you want to bring in? How do you optimize your business operations? How do you move into the new age from a legacy to digital? So what we did, we brought in the agentic AI agents capability. We started deploying this for the old legacy platform. And we started building what was that code written for with inference, which is not something which a human can do, even though you have 100 people sitting in the room and trying to bring this. So that was one of the key objectives where an agentic agent, so one of the question was asked before, was it in production? Yeah, it is not a production, but it is required for you to meet the business outcome. So this was something which was very effective. It was something which was done for a tier 1 opco in Europe, which is having an 80-year-old legacy system connecting to 40, 50 integrations. Now I'll just quote one more example. We had a similar case where we had to deploy a platform for a group operations. So when it comes to group operations, even though their architectures with the distributed systems are standardized, you cannot go and repeat the same integrations, the same testings everywhere, right? So one of the way to optimize that was to bring in the agentic AI capability so that you do deployment, you do all the procedures of CI/CD, DevSecOps, deploy in one place, you test this, you build this as an agentic agent which can help you to minimize your integrations, migration, testing timelines for the other operations. So how do you automate? Yes. So it depends on how you want to use the agentic AI, but can human be replaced? The answer is no. Humans are still required. But it also depends on the top-to-down approach, what is being directed, and what are the objectives you need to achieve. So there are many cases where we see the agentic AI agents are working. So we identify some 40 to 50 use cases, which are the problem area solving areas, which are from customer experience, business operations, and revenue.
So adding on this point, right, it's really, really important, right, like where that world is going towards that, all those experience and all. So I think AI did a lot good things, or I would say very, very optimized things. If I talk about the large volume data, there I think AI did a brilliant job. So just talk about WakeFit journey, right? In WakeFit, we are having a big number of data where we have to predict, okay, how much raw data we require for our big billion day sale or any kind of such sales, right? So predict that data to buy that raw data and make sure that all those inventories are in place before the start of the sale, right? So for that, we are doing all those queries, we are identifying a lot of things, it's a big time efforts, right? Where we have to invest the time, things doing in a different direction. I think with the AI development, what we have done, we have created a personalized driven service. What it was doing, like it was giving us all those calculation based on all those past history of the orders, quantity, high sale volume of the products which are going from stores, websites, marketplaces, everywhere. It's checking out everything, giving all those results and telling us, boss, you need to buy this much of inventory. Now this is your inventory for each item breakdown. After that, it is telling us how much trees you have to buy, how much chemical you have to buy, how much things you have to buy to make that production done, right? So production capability is something really, really important, which was taking some time, some hours, days to predict that out. So now it is optimized with an AI-driven experience where we are getting every day as a report, boss, you have to buy this, go for it. Even the buying option is also automated, right? So that is going in a next level down the line in that side. So I think having said that, I said like data in a high volume is really, really important, where human will take some a bit time, where AI is helping us to optimize the time and giving a best productive result, right? That is important. Second thing, as an engineering wala mindset, if I talk about, if you have done some optimization or revamp the entire experience of the website, app and all, right? Now you have lakhs of code, like lakhs of line of code you have to review. So now if you are going as a manual check or as a reviewer, right? You have to see every syntax, everything. So which is something is not possible for a human to see all lakhs of line. And being a developer, we know what we see as a reviewer. We see only the important areas, important functions going down and just checking this out. But we are not seeing every line of code, because which is not possible as a practical node, right? Where AI does the job, because they screen all those basic checks and everything based on your requirements. Okay, boss, I just make sure that this function has to be standard as a format. So you define your requirement as a reviewer, like this is my requirement, this is the function has to be like this, standard practice, all those your area where you as a reviewer do, right? So those things you define as an input, and then AI will did the job and it will validate everything all together, right? So it will help us to review the lakhs of line of code with a smarter way. And then it will give you the highlight also, that this is something you can see as a review, and then you can go. So it will optimize your time in a reviewer for lakhs of these kind of areas, right? So that is also important. And if you go anywhere for a large volume experience or those kind of data, I think AI is doing a fabulous job for that.
So this is, since it's an India DevOps show, so where AI agent is doing a little better job in DevOps world is what according to me, what we have implemented is now all the observability tools anyway have come up with their own MCP servers, but the challenge before, it used to be like you're in PagerDuty, then your observability tools will be either Datadog or Chronosphere, etc. Then we have logs somewhere else. So now with all these MCP servers integrated, it's able to build an event chronology correlating all these metrics. Not the RCA part. RCA part is still not able to, it's not able to get the right RCA, but event chronology, it's building up beautifully as of now.
Cool, cool, amazing. So there are certain things which I believe AI is already doing better than humans. One common theme that we can all see is where the data is large, right? For example, if you have to scan petabytes and petabytes of data, find a pattern, find the purchasing pattern, or apply some algorithm over that data to find a particular problem in that, any security issues across that. So I think that's where AI is doing a job, where human eyes will take maybe days, maybe months to see. AI can grasp all of that data in one go. So there are certain areas where AI is doing good, but AI still can't dance better than humans unless robots are there. So there are many, many things which humans will keep doing better than AI. And as rightly said, this is more of a DevOps show. The name itself is DevOps show, so we'll kind of shift focus towards that a little bit. What do you guys think about, specifically speaking to DevOps, right? How does the future of a DevOps team look like? If you want to hire, let's say, given the pace, every day a new model is coming, given everything that is happening around, if you want to hire a team for 2030, how does a futuristic DevOps team in a large scale organization looks like?
So I think in DevOps is really a big gatekeeper of the system, right? Before like going anything towards a journey of production, right? And DevOps is really is an important pillar to have any journey go for the next. So future for DevOps, I would say in one liner like, okay, you have released something, your system is running well and all of a sudden something went down, your site app is down, right? You will get the notification. The person who used to fix that out with the solution, with the problem, he will get that thing, boss, you have this problem, you are the culprit based on your journey or based on your code change which you have done 3 days ago or 10 days ago. You are the person based on your changes, you have to fix. This is the fixed probability which you can get that things done. This is the way you have to approach. So all those things will be in one mailer where the person who used to need to fix that out, he will take the action. And probably, if I'm not wrong, in next few 2-3 years down the line, the commit also will be ready. Only you have to review from a manual eye and then you go for it as a commit done and just release it. So that will be the journey for a DevOps in a faster way. And having said that, all those validation level, like as he said, right, like all observabilities and all. Now the observability says like you have this downtime, this 500x error and all, right? So identifying those errors, filtering those errors to getting the next call, right? So all those efforts which we used to take now, like, okay, this is my error, this is the reason. If you talk about DDoS attack and other things also, right? So in these attacks and all, it's very tricky, I would say, to identify it as an attack or it is a kind of traffic which you got. Because in some cases, it is just like a natural, and by the way, the attackers are very smart nowadays. They have millions of IPs to make sure they treat you as a kind of genuine customer and they are just treating themselves as a genuine customer. They are hitting your site and experience and making sure things are down, but they should not get that caught during those such checklists which we have in WEF and other rules and all. So they have very smarter ways. So having said that, to prevent those things, I think AI will help in the DevOps to identify such things with digital signatures and a lot of areas where we can add more in the technology-driven experience, right? Just like in digital signature, what you can do? You can generate your own signatures where you define the journey. Okay, this is the pattern, this is the thing. Is a DDoS, this is something, is a normal user. So you differentiate the journey with the signatures, multiple signatures will be there in the system, and your observability tool or system will verify those signatures. Based on the signatures, it will tail the call and it will tell you that this is a guy of attacker or guy of a genuine user, and those bifurcations will be easily doable, right? So I think DevOps is a big journey, guys, and it is itself is a kind of entire technology-driven side, right? It is not only a DevOps, I would say. It's a entire engineering is a part of the journey. So yeah, so it is going to be a next level where a lot of things will be optimized and faster.
So DevOps definitely, I see very clearly from here that DevOps by 2030 has an amazing journey. See, one thing you need to understand, like every major technology shift happened so far. It created a fear. It created fear first. It looks like, oh, something is happening. But later, that technology created more demand. Any example you take it, whether you go from assembly language to high programming language, you go to manual ops to DevOps, or you go on-premise to cloud. Any technology shift has gave great demand to engineers. Same with DevOps applies. All the AI, agentic solution, LLMs coming into place, it's actually opening new doors for DevOps. You need to understand two things. You have to move yourself from low leverage work, which you are doing that, low leverage engineering task. You move yourself to build the abstraction layer. And by 2030, I feel DevOps career, there's a lot of opportunity. Like one thing every time we are missing out, we are saying that AI is doing great job, lot of code generation, understanding the code pattern. But everybody has missed out here is governance. Governance is one of the top agenda, like what models I need to use, what model is exactly right for me, what kind of the output I need to achieve. So those windows is unlocked so far, and the door is opening now. So by 2030, I feel the DevOps will go even more strong and will have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, so I would like to add a few points on that. Definitely by 2030, DevOps will become stronger, but with respect to the hiring point of view, like what type of skill and required, if I have to hire, I will definitely hire AI first, but there has to be no compromise on the first principle thinking, like and the fundamentals, because a human only can understand the customer impact. AI cannot. A human can understand the impact that changes. So end of the day, human has to take the decision and be accountable. So with that, I will say ki, definitely AI first, but no compromise on the system and first principle thinking. Yep.
Yeah, I think DevOps world, it's very well placed when we talk about how the AI is also evolving in terms of agentic AI. Infra as a code has been there for long. So provisioning infrastructure for capacity planning and all, though it's kind of automation, but making it self-serve. Also, the lines which are currently there, that somebody is expert in compute, somebody is in storage, somebody is in network, somebody is in DevSec. So when we offload that knowledge to the agents, where we say, okay, this is my RDS, this is my database, go figure out what's the problem. Because there are n number of ways, limited number of ways a query can be written bad. There are certain patterns. Rather than human understanding those patterns, if agent knows that, and it knows very well because it has access to whole knowledge base, which is much beyond one DBA can have. Similarly for the compute, whatever your container stack is, whatever your storage stack is, and whatever your network stack is, firewall, whatever. So a lot of agents definitely to cut down the time which DevOps team should take to identify an issue, debug the issue. They should not be spending too much time on troubleshooting. The lines between I understand this technology, I understand that technology, we should be more versatile. We should be more broader in terms of understanding the infrastructure. And when we talk about multi-cloud, then it's a different skills. We say, okay, I'm AWS, I'm GCP, I'm Azure. But fundamentals are still the same. If that fundamentals, rather than human getting that knowledge, we offload to the standard set of agents, then we just orchestrate as a DevOps developer. So I believe there is a lot of standardization already there. It's not a legacy code. We are talking about infrastructure which is very well whitelisted the way we use it. Whether it is AWS containers, whether it is storage, or whether it is network. So there is definitely a great opportunity to have a very small set of DevOps who have very well organized set of agents who can do a lot of things. And also the FinOps, right? It's always a chasing game that where are we bleeding money? Rather than spending money on these costs, I think it can be much more proactive. Because again, it's all coming from the logs what you already have. So I guess there's huge potential and very interesting time. Yeah.
And also adding one point, guys, previously we all know that DevOps used to work 24/7, right? But I think nowadays, down the line, people are going to be very a smarter way. All those journeys which they used to do night and all, they monitor the systems. They make sure if they have a kind of traffic spike, right? They just add the servers and all. Everything is going in the automation direction. Even we have done in BreakFit. So during the nights and all, it automatically downscale the system servers. In morning, when we have a pickup of the traffic, right? We know 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. is traffic will jump. So during that time, it automatically, based on the server spike numbers, it jump up and scale up the servers. So scale down and scale up is sorted. So that person had no need to be spent in the night for and see the monitoring. Second thing about any error come, which we have all those counter checks, 500, 400. Based on those errors, we have defined the journey, what you have to do as a script. So we have written the script, and based on those scripts, it is doing the job. So I think automating those journeys from different scales, different problems, using AI and a lot of other scripts and others, right? So it is helping and it is revolving in a different direction now. It is not 24/7 as a kind of, the person has to be very sitting on the table and just seeing the monitor screen and all. No, that's not the way. Nowadays, people are doing a smarter job. So DevOps is itself is optimized or like in a new revolution, right? So that journey is completely in a different level and scale. So those people who are working in DevOps now, they are in very, very smarter move they have done already. So it's like going to be a crazy journey for them. For 2030, though, I think it will be a very, very next level journey, which is, I think, more than any engineer can assume for that. Yeah.
Cool, cool. So I think two things from here is, first of all, Animesh will be hiring AI DevOps engineer. So that's very sure. So reach out to him if anybody wants to do that. Second was very important point on the first principles. You have to be adapting AI as a DevOps engineer, but the first principle remains same. So don't forget how a linked list work. That is still needed. And I think now we understand how the DevOps world is going to evolve, a lot of automation. But the engineers are not going away, and no more 20 like midnight pager duty calls. It can be automated, so you can sleep very peacefully. But you have to adopt AI in a certain way, the agentic AI in a way so that you are very future ready. We are almost on the time, but very quickly, I would love to understand from few of you that LLMs are the base layer, but the agentic AI is the way forward. The agents are working on top of these LLMs, which are created by big techs like OpenAI, Google, Microsoft. All of them are creating these very beautifully crafted, well-trained LLMs, but agentic AI is something which everybody will work on. This is the layer which sits on top of LLM. How do you think a software engineer journey should look like from here? If you want to become a good software engineer, or if you're just entering, someone who is a very new grad, passed out of into computer science, how their journey changes and how they should adapt this new world. Maybe in one line from all of you, starting with you, sir.
With respect to software engineers, I'm not sure, but with respect to DevOps engineer, I will say like the new engineers who are going to be coming in, they need to understand the system architecture in a better way. And for DevOps, at least, they should understand how to use, we are not asking them to build anything, but how do you use MCP servers? How do you integrate with all the LLMs in the back end? And how do you correlate them? So that's what we will be looking at.
For any person who is joining as a fresher or intern and all right, I think for them the journey to be very good, because they will see the one view of the experience of your system design. So whatever your company is here, right? So with these agentic things and all, you will see the one view of your system. Okay, this is my LMS, this is my WMS, this is the view of that, and the explanation ways also is at the next level. It is not something like only just diagram is there, but there are dependencies. Which are the dependencies? Like WMS having dependency on this, all those charters, all those areas are well defined nowadays in that descriptive way, right? So to understand things better in a one view is really, really having a next level of thought, where people will take not many days to understand the system, because it is easy to understand now, rather than taking some time, getting some help from the people and all. So that is sorted. Second thing, people will not think about, okay, I have to write something and then I have to understand, okay, how the business is going. I think the next level will be very clear. All those planning and everything will be clear. Okay, this is something you have to build, and this is something is the way you have to use as a SOP, right? So all those process and everything will be well defined. So the steps to step journey from next, like 0 to 10 way, right? So that is well defined in any company. So they will make sure the time and all those quality of the work, right, has to be optimized in a next level. So those process will help us to do the things in a faster and a smarter way.
I would say you do 3 changes in your daily life to become average engineer to great engineer, or junior engineer to senior engineer. You need to reason AI response every time. Why answer is like this? So you're reasoning with AI response, the output I mean to say, you have to always question that. Second, always check the quality of the LLM. Go with multiple LLM and don't stick with one. You try to reason and check the qualities. And the third most important part is understand the system design. If you do these 3 activity on a day-to-day basis, you will become a great software engineer.
Yeah, I think the writing code as a, like for fresher, I think that time has gone. Now everybody is talking about like people have to understand the system design and architecture, as well as I'll also add like the problem solving, like understanding, build your understanding to get the particular business context. I think because when you are going to write, give a prompt, you need to write a few of the different context scenario so that like LLM understand, they give you the proper test code coverage so that you can build a little bit of trust what is being generated. Yeah.
So we all know everybody is looking for an autonomous network, autonomous deployment, autonomous product development. So what we typically do, like when we go to any of the institutes, and you guys are also the brand ambassadors who are also part of this entire ecosystem, I always believe, or we always believe, any disruption is an opportunity. So we tell that, we try to engage with institutions and engineers. We tell them that this is something which has to come as part of their curriculum itself, so that you look at the curriculum in a different way, not just on the standard engineering practices. So that is one thing what we do, because we believe we have to bring people equipped when they come into a product company like us. Second thing is, whenever I go to speak, I tell all the brand ambassadors who are in the room that you are also coming out from some institute. I feel that we have to get this new change of engineering thought into the education system as well. So that is one thing. And third thing is, yeah, the time is up, but I'll just complete. We just set a framework. Using the framework, you make the engineers to work. So I don't think it's a rocket science as SLM. You can make it happen. We have done bigger things before. I don't think this is also something which we cannot achieve.
Yeah, so I think it will just blast or something. It is blinking red, so you can adjust. We still have we can spare 1 minute. Please go ahead.
So I was in this forum a year or 2 years back, right? At that time, one question that was asked was, how can a DevOps engineer become better? My answer to that was, he or she should understand the application or understand, one level above what he already knows. Now, I see that already happening with Agentic AI and LLMs. The DevOps engineer already knows about the application. And we are increasingly seeing the blurring of the lines between FinOps and SecOps and DevOps and application engineering. Not only that, the data engineer who used to work with data is able to understand what the application does, the OLTP does, by using AI agents to query. And I see that progressively happening. I don't think in a few years' time you're going to see a DevOps engineer. They will be expected to know much more than what you see them currently knowing. In a sense, I think AI is going to be like the electricity in the room. It'll make its presence felt. When it's not there, you'll realize, okay, everything's running because of that.
Yeah, just to add, I think AI is helping us do 10x, but it doesn't tell the direction, whether it's taking us 10x in the right direction or in the wrong direction. So that's, as a software engineer, you have to own the outcome. So how do you do that? Pre-AI, we had senior folks, architects, reviews, our consoles, bunch of things we used to do. But those things are becoming still there, but in 1 year, don't know in what shape and form it will be. And also we used to think short term and long term, because everything has a trade-off. So, but in agentic world, where is the trade-off being factored in? What's the long-term extensibility of those architecture decisions? So I guess we, even entry-level software engineers, and they also have to think a bit larger as a senior folks to understand that there's a lot of accountability and ownership which comes along with these tools, which can just do a lot with one line of prompt.
Perfect. So I think just to conclude, AI, if you're sitting in a car, you can give accelerator to AI, but steering you should keep holding. Otherwise, it will just crash you. Steering and brake both. Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks all the panel members. It was really nice discussion. All of us will be here for at least for next few minutes. I don't know everyone's schedule, but feel free to ask any questions outside this room, and I'll hand over the mic. Thanks everyone again.